How are you all today? Hope you are all doing fine and safe. In the previous lecture, we have talked about market segmentation, targeting, and positioning. This morning, we are going to talk about market research. No matter what the size of a business is, whether it is big, whether it is a small company, market research plays a very important role in so many aspects of the so many activities of marketing. For one, market research is supposed to give market information, customer information, and competitor information. Aside from this, there are so many things that a marketer can learn about market research, and we will talk about that in this chapter. Aside from appreciating market research, we also hope that you will understand how market research affects consumer behavior and know the steps on how to do a marketing research. Marketing research is defined as the systematic design, collection, analysis, and reporting of data relevant to a specific marketing situation facing an organization. These marketing situations cover such things as the latest trends in social media, new products that are launched in the market, or competitors' marketing promotions. Market research also looks deeper into finding information and insights about the customers, such as their buying habits. Marketers are always interested into finding out where the customers buy, why they buy certain things, and what are their perceptions and motivations. This critical information helps the marketers make informed, sound, and good marketing decisions. Procter & Gamble, the maker of the world-famous Tide detergent, is a very good example of a company that spends a huge amount of resources for market research. In one instance, the company engaged in a 2-week immersion research, tagging along women all over America, just simply to find out what is important to them. In that research, the company found out that women are very emotional about their clothing. They express their personalities, attitudes, and feelings in what they wear. This very deep marketing insight led to the development of one of Tide's most iconic advertising message: Tide knows fabric best. Procter & Gamble strongly believes that deep customer insights yield meaningful customer relationships, creating customer value. Apple Company's iPad and all of the other products that the company made after it are all products of market research. The iPad is not the world's first digital music player, but through market research, the company found out two important discoveries. First, consumers want to take all their music with them, and second, they don't want their music players to be obtrusive and bulky, as in the case of cassette players during the 80s and Sony's Walkman. Taking this in mind, Apple created a product that is slim, portable, and can carry thousands of music in a music device that can easily fit in one's backpack or pocket. In today's marketing era, marketers always rely on the most recent and reliable marketing information. We can even hear of companies even complaining about the lack of much needed customer insights. This is so because of the rapid changes that is happening to customers and markets all over the world. We can see the effects of these changes in the rapid development and launching of new models of mobile phones, cars, gadgets, and almost every product being sold in any market. The real value of marketing research and marketing information lies on the quality and quantity of marketing insights that they can give. Customer insights are defined as the fresh understandings of customers and the marketplace derived from marketing information that become the basis of creating customer value and relationships. Marketing information systems is defined as the people and procedures for assessing information needs, developing the needed information, and helping decision makers to use this to generate and validate actionable customer and marketing insights. The procedure begins and ends with the customers. The information are used by the company marketing department and other managers. The company's managers, partners, suppliers, and distributors may also use this information. Gathering marketing information begins first with assessing information needs. This means that the one who will gather the information should ask the potential users to clearly identify and lay out their needs. Next, the marketing information system will interact with the marketing environment to develop the needed information. The marketing environment includes the target markets, marketing channels, competitors, publics, and other macro environment forces. All of this information may be taken from the company's internal records or database, marketing intelligence activities, and market research. After all the needed information are gathered, they will be analyzed and processed to produce and deliver the information that are needed. A good marketing information system balances the information users would like to have against what they really need and what is feasible or possible to get. For example, information about competitors are very important information, and marketers always want to know what their competition will do. However, there are certain laws and limitations as to what kind of information and how these information can be taken. Similarly, the costs, the time, and the resources needed to collect, store, and analyze this data should also be taken into consideration in assessing marketing information. In developing marketing information, marketers can get data from its internal database, marketing intelligence, and marketing research. Internal database refers to records that are collected and stored by the company. Examples of these are the data collected by phone companies from its customers, such as names, address, date of birth, and products bought. Marketing intelligence refers to the systematic collection and analysis of publicly available information about consumers, competitors, and developments in the marketplace. The goal of competitive marketing intelligence is to improve strategic decision making by understanding the consumer environment, assessing and tracking competitors' actions, and providing early warnings of opportunities and threats. Social media companies have been notoriously known for intelligently gathering and storing and processing really powerful and sensitive data about its users. They have the capability to provide precise customers' information to its vendors or sellers that engage in business with them. Market research, as it has been mentioned, is one of the primary marketing tools that is used to collect and even discover new marketing insights. Marketing research involves 5 steps. Each of these steps is critical to finding out relevant market and customer information. These processes include identifying the problem, developing the research plan, conducting the research, analyzing and reporting its findings, and taking action. These 5 processes will be discussed in detail. Marketing research begins with identifying the marketing problem. The marketing manager and the researcher should work closely together to define the marketing problem and the research objectives. Sometimes this can be hard because of the difficulty to point out what the real marketing problem is. For example, a company might be losing sales. This may be because of several reasons. It might be about the product, the price, or even simple things like packaging or customer perceptions. All of these reasons are problems on their own. Thus, the marketing manager and the researcher should decide on where to focus and which problems to research about first. There are many types of market research. They can be broadly classified based on source, methodology, and objectives. By source, we have primary research and secondary research. In a primary research, the data is collected for a specific marketing problem. For example, if the researcher distributes questionnaires about the price of the company's products to find out if the customers agree to this price, this can be considered as a primary research. In secondary research, the data is from a previous study but not specifically about the one which is currently conducted. An example for this will be when a researcher uses statistical data from the government about the population in a city just for him to have an estimate of the potential customers in that particular city. In this case, it is not the researcher who is the primary source of data, but the government. By methodology, we have qualitative research and quantitative research. A qualitative research is one that yields information that are not numerical in nature. For example, feelings of people, opinion of customers about something, and customer behavior. This research is usually done through interviews and observation techniques. In quantitative research, The research yields information that are numerical in nature. For example, number of potential customers, sales forecasts, and number of customer complaints. Lastly, by objectives, we have exploratory, descriptive, and causal research. An exploratory research is one that gathers preliminary information that will help define problems and suggest hypotheses. Companies that try to discover about possible new markets that are emerging in a certain region, or a research that tries to gain new knowledge about a specific market, are examples of exploratory researches. A descriptive research is one that gives us better description of marketing problems, situations, or markets, such as the market potential for a product or the demographics and attitudes of consumers. A research that tries to find out how much sales is lost by companies because of the pandemic can be classified as a descriptive research. Lastly, the causal research is one that tests hypotheses about the cause and effect relationships of something. A researcher that tries to find out why a certain market segment prefers to shop at night, or a research that tries to find out the reasons why company sales are falling in a certain region are good examples of causal researches. Once the problem and objectives are established, the researchers must determine the exact information needed, develop a plan for gathering it efficiently, and present the plan to management. The research plan outlines sources of existing data and spells out the specific research approaches, contact methods, sampling, and instruments that the researchers will use to gather the new data. Marketing data can either be taken from primary or secondary sources. These primary data may be in a qualitative or quantitative form. This type of data is usually obtained from surveys, experiments, or observations which are done by the researcher. Secondary data are usually quantitative form. There are numerous companies right now that sells big data for companies. Government publications, journals, and other researches can also provide useful secondary data for the researcher. The research approach refers to the different ways on how a research can be conducted. In observational research, primary data is obtained by observing relevant people, actions, or situations. An ethnographic research is an example of an observational research. In here, trained observers are sent to watch and interact with consumers in their natural environments. In a survey research, primary data is gathered by asking people questions about their knowledge, attitudes, preferences, and behavior. The last research approach is called an experimental research. Here, primary data is selected by matching groups of subjects, giving them different treatments, controlling the related factors, and checking for differences in their responses. Contact methods refers to how the subjects of the study will be conducted for the research. Online methods through emails or online surveys are quite numerous these days. Traditionally, samples are contacted via face-to-face, mail, or telephone methods. Marketing researchers usually draw conclusions about large groups of consumers by studying a small sample of the total consumer population. A sample is a segment of the population selected for market research to represent the population as a whole. Ideally, the sample should be representative so that the researcher can make accurate estimates of the thoughts and behaviors of the larger population. The researcher has to decide who the sample will be, how many will be selected as samples, or how they will be chosen. In collecting primary data, marketing researchers have a choice of two main research instruments: the questionnaire and mechanical devices. The questionnaire is by far the most common instrument, whether administered in person, by phone, by email, or online. Questionnaires are very flexible. There are many ways to ask questions. Closed-end questions include all the possible answers, and subjects make choices among them. Examples include multiple choice questions and scale questions. Open-end questions allow respondents to answer in their own words. Although questionnaires are the most common research instrument, researchers also use mechanical instruments to monitor consumer behavior. Nielsen Media Research attaches people meters to television sets, cable boxes, and satellite systems in selected homes to record who watches which programs. Retailers use checkout scanners to record shoppers' purchases. After the research design is finalized, the researcher next puts the marketing research plan into action. This involves collecting, processing, and analyzing the information. Data collection can be carried out by the company's marketing research staff or outside firms. Researchers must also process and analyze the collected data to isolate important information and insight. They need to check data for accuracy and completeness and code it for analysis. The researcher then tabulates the results and computes statistical measures. After the results of the research is analyzed, the researcher must now interpret the findings, draw conclusions, and report them to management. The researcher should not try to overwhelm managers with numbers and fancy statistical techniques. Rather, the researcher should present important findings and insights that are useful in the major decisions faced by the management. One of the most critical information managers desire is a comprehensive report that details the purchase decision-making process of their target market and the consumers in general. It has been repeatedly mentioned in the early parts of the video that marketing or consumer insights are very important, and it has given companies great ideas on how to develop and improve products and how they can connect with their target market. Thus, understanding the different steps or processes that are involved in consumer decision making is a must for any business. Specifically, a marketing manager will be interested to know about the steps in buyer decision making: need recognition, information search, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and post-purchase decision. The buying process starts with need recognition. The buyer recognizes a problem or a need. The need can be triggered by internal stimuli when one of the person's normal needs, for example, hunger or thirst, rises to a level high enough to become a drive. A need can also be triggered by external stimuli. Some marketing researches are conducted to find out what kind of stimuli would make a consumer realize that he or she needs a particular product. Customer insights that tell about these different kinds of stimuli will be very useful in advertising and selling products. Marketing research organizations are in constant search for these stimuli, and it can either be a trending video on social media, news, or other developments in certain fields. Information search is the second step in consumer buyer decision-making process. An interested consumer may or may not search for more information. If the consumer's drive is strong and a satisfying product is near at hand, he or she is likely to buy it then. If not, the consumer may try to recall from his memory or undertake an information search related to the need. Marketing research also seeks for market and consumer insights on how, when, where, and why they look for information from a certain media or platform. In this day and age, where information is available everywhere, it is necessary for the marketing manager to find out how the consumers seek their information needs. Marketers need to know about alternative evaluation, that is, how the consumer processes information to arrive at brand choices. Unfortunately, consumers do not use a simple and single evaluation process in all buying situations. Instead, several evaluation processes are at work. The consumer arrives at attitude toward different brands through some evaluation procedure. How consumers go about evaluating purchase alternatives depends on the individual consumer and the specific buying situation. In some cases, consumers use careful calculations and logical thinking. At other times, the same consumers do little or no evaluating. Instead, they buy on impulse and rely on intuition. Sometimes, Consumers make buying decisions on their own. Sometimes they turn to friends, online reviews, or salespeople for buying advice. This is what marketing research needs to be very focused on. They have to find out how consumers evaluate the so many alternatives that are available to them. In the evaluation stage, the consumer ranks brands and forms purchase intentions. Generally, the consumer's purchase decision will be to buy the most preferred brand. But two factors can come between the purchase intention and the purchase decision. The first factor is the attitude of others. The second factor is unexpected situational factors. The consumer may form a purchase intention based on factors such as expected income, expected price, and expected product benefits. However, unexpected events may change the purchase intention. Market research aims to find consumer insights that they can use to strengthen the purchase intentions of the consumer, even if there are many external and unexpected situational factors that may stop him from buying. For example, a market research should provide information as to the right quality of the product, features, and attributes that consumers will find hard to resist. The marketer's job does not end when the product is bought. After purchasing the product, the consumer will either be satisfied or dissatisfied and will engage in post-purchase behavior of interest to the marketer. If the product falls short of expectations, the consumer is disappointed. If it meets expectations, the consumer is satisfied. If it exceeds expectations, the consumer is delighted. The larger the gap between expectations and performance, the greater the consumer's dissatisfaction. Of course, all of this information can be taken through market research. In this video, we have learned about marketing research. We hope that you have understood the different processes that are undergone in developing a marketing research. We have also discussed the different types of marketing researches that are being used by marketing research agencies and all marketing organizations. Lastly, we have also discussed how consumer behavior is helped by marketing research and the different kinds of marketing researches that are being conducted to get more understanding about consumer buying decision making. To find out how much you have learned from this lecture, scan this QR code from your phone's camera and access the activity. All of these activities are recorded and marked. Like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be informed of future videos. Thank you and keep safe, everyone.